Well, we are live on Yonkers Voice with the former mayor of Mount Vernon, Andre Wallace. Mr. Wallace, how you doing, sir?
Doing great. Can't complain. Staying healthy and hiding inside. I'm okay. Sheltered from the COVID.
Family's good?
Yeah, everybody's good. Excited for the new arrival coming December 15th. So
What
yeah.
do what do you mean new arrival?
Well, I got a baby daughter on the way. So
Wow,
I'm happy. And that and
congratulations.
and that's it. Thank you. I'm finished. I'm done. I had to wait to get a girl. I've been working on it, but the boys keep coming. And I wasn't gonna do like my father and keep going with 6 tries and strike out twice, But I was lucky. I'm happy, So I'm excited right now.
But the city of Mount Vernon is not as good, is
Yeah.
it?
No, well, this city faces a whole lot of challenges. It always has, and it seems like we always seem to get in our own way. Um, and it just seems like it just continues to go on and on and on. And I'm sure everybody's sick of it. All the people are sick of it. The taxpayers are sick of it. It's not a happy moment. And with things that I'm hearing, it makes it even worse. How you walk down the street, and when you go in other places and everybody want to just discuss everything that is bad with Mount Vernon, uh, and it's not about that. We have a good community. It's a great community, but there's just a lot of bad things that's being done that overshadows the good. You know what they say: you can do 100 things right, but the airtime's going to go to the one thing that you do wrong.
But Mayor, it seems like Mount Vernon is not being able to get out of the hole. As soon as something seems to be resolved, we're back in another crisis.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a shame. It's a shame. When I was in office, I even did a commercial to try to change the outlook of Mount Vernon. Change how people view us, and I got criticized for that. Where everybody else does these kind of things, and to bring in businesses and to work on bringing in tourism and to bring in other people into this community so they can get an opportunity to see that this is not as bad as it looks on the news. You know,
Well,
yeah.
you are not as bad as it looks on the news. Our sources are saying that there is over 100 people involved in this federal investigation. In my book, that's bad. What about in your book,
I
sir?
think I think all the books, or most of the books, it's bad. However you look at it, it's horrible. If this comes out to be true, it would be like the greatest corruption and crime in all of Mount Vernon's history, and it'll be very sad. It's a sad moment for our city, and the people that we elect and the people that we have working for us for the city that reflects on all of us need to be examined and really do, because everybody that is caught up in something or some mess like this, you have to remember, if you work for City Hall or you work for any agency for the city, you're a representation of that city. And people need to realize that it affects the whole entire city. It's like if you work for a company and you commit crime in that company or whatever, uh, the whole company gets a dark cloud over it. It's the same thing with the city. We people need to start to understand that they don't only represent themselves; they represent all of us, and that's the sad part about it. Because for me, I always think about the people. It's always people first before anything else. The people that you represent. When I went to City Hall, I tried to represent myself the best I can. You don't hear scandals. You don't go through all of these things outside because your representation represents a bunch of other people, and I don't think people understand that, and they don't realize that how bad it is for everybody else when a few bad actors do this kind of thing that puts a stain on our whole community and our whole city.
Now, Mayor Wallace, let's go back to your administration. Well, before we go to your to your administration, let's just make it clear that we are not accusing anyone. As far as we know,
Right.
this is only allegations, okay?
Right. It is.
Yeah, and everyone is presumed innocent until found guilty in the court of law. So,
Absolutely.
so let's make it clear, okay? Because, you know, we cannot find or talk about social injustices and then commit an injustice by saying that somebody is guilty without actually being guilty.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So those are allegations. Now let's go back to your administration. We know more or less the names, or at least there is allegation, and some names are popping up. Some of those names were people that were let go or fired during your administration, correct, sir?
Yes, what I'm hearing, when I was there, I did my best to clean out all of the corruption in Mount Vernon. See, the thing about it is, it's a difficult process. Nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to be on the front line. Nobody wants to take the blame for cleaning it up because it's not a popular thing. However, by it continuously going on over these years and decades, it's unfortunate, but Mount Vernon just became uh, this. It just has this cloud over it, where it just became a whole full city of corruption, and the behavior and the culture has become a culture of corruption, and it's sad. And I tried my best. People took offense to the way I did things. People were always upset. A lot of city workers were upset with me when I was taking down some of the police officers that were bad. And I had press conferences in front of the police station. I've explained it to everybody that it was bad coming from the top and work your way down to clean up the corruption. And in other areas, in DPW and the fire department. And I had so many people pushing back on me. A lot of people say I'm picking on people. A lot of people are saying all of these different things. But the bottom line is somebody has to step up and be willing to do it and to take the broom and clean up the mess, or it's going to continue to go on. And I see that most of the things that I put in place in the safeguards of cleaning it up has all been reversed, when I left. It's funny. It's just like, the new administration came in and did the same thing Trump did to Obama. You put things in place to protect people. You put things into place to make sure that the people are secured and safe. You have to make sure that it's the people before yourself all the time, and before the politics. But I just can't fathom why it just continues to go on like that. It's a shame. And if these allegations are true, it's very shameful, it's very hurtful, it's very disrespectful to the people of Mount Vernon. And these are people that I represented and I still represent, even though I'm not in office right now. And, I'm not out there as much. You don't see me on the streets as much, doing a lot of things. I'm still working. I'm still working on Mount Vernon Hospital. We're close to getting something done, and that'll come out sooner than later. So there's a lot of different things that I'm working on for our city in the background to make sure that it works. And remember, I don't do this for the politicians. I don't care about them. I don't care about all the other elected officials and all of that stuff. I do this for the people. I do that because when I was in office, I even would have the 2 days when I would have everybody come in the afternoons on Tuesdays and Thursdays and sit down with me and tell me what's on their mind. Those are the people I work for. Those are the people that came in, discuss things. It was so funny too. I had a conversation not long ago with somebody. They were like, "Oh, you got so much stuff done. You got things done in 5 months that people couldn't do in 10 years. You know why? Because my connection to the people, and I know who I worked for. That's why I would have them come into my office and they would tell me what the problems are, because they know they're out there. They know what affects them. They know what they want. They know that we shouldn't have the parking at 8 o'clock, move your car. It should be at 9 o'clock. Why reverse those things? Because these are the things that they want. Give them what they want. We're just there to work for them. They're the boss. We're not the boss.
Yeah.
And that works.
Yeah. Mayor, as you know, we are live and we might be talking about the particular subject, but I'm looking down and I'm monitoring the questions that are coming from the people that are watching us. And
Yeah.
I have to address some of those questions, even though those questions might be off topic of whatever we are talking at the moment, but I have to ask those questions.
Well, let me just say this before you even ask the question. I'm going to answer all the questions because
Okay,
it's the people,
good.
those are the ones we respond to.
That's right. So the people are asking you a question. This question comes for Sean Davis. Why did you fire Officer Huge? I don't know who Officer Huge is, but you might know. You
Officer
fired him.
Huge, well, I fired a lot of people.
Okay.
I got rid of a lot of officers. But if I did fire any of the officers, it was for good reason. Either there was, because in that police station there was, and they're still doing it. There's sexting going on where they're videotaping, they're doing all kinds of stuff, and people sleeping with this one and the corruption. If you were caught up in any of those things, I suspended you or fired you. If you were caught up and I found out in taking money or bribes, I caught you. I fired you. I went through investigations, and I swear if I had another 2 months, I would have pulled off everything that I needed to pull off with cleaning up so much of that police station and other things. It's just that time ran out, the clock ran out, and they knew it too. So they did what they took vacations and everything else.
Yeah.
But yes, if I did do that, it's because that person did something that reflects a bad image on the police station and a bad image on our city.
Well, Mayor, normally when people get fired is because someone felt that they were not doing what they were supposed to do. Okay, but this question is very specific to a particular officer. So it's not a general question, a blanket question. Why did you fire some officer? They specifically asking Officer Huge. So you don't know who Officer Huge is? Maybe I'm spelling it right. Hughes.
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 Yeah. But I would have to go back to my notes and everything and try to figure it out. I can't remember, but let me tell you, if I fired or suspend somebody, it was for good reason because they did something bad, period. And I don't tolerate that.
Good. Now, going back to corruption, sir. Corruption is a very strong word. You fired anyone that you felt was corrupt.
Absolutely.
And I
anybody that I felt were not doing their job or hurting the people, the taxpayers. If you had a business and somebody was stealing from your business, would you keep him or would you fire him?
Correct.
I'm a businessman. I look at it that way.
Yeah, you looked at things from a business perspective. Now, from a business perspective, we only fire people with reason, and we have to have the evidence that will sustain those reasonings. So what I'm
absolutely
correct. So what I'm going to is some of the names that are popping up were people that you let go.
Yeah.
So chances are they were corrupt. So if they are corrupt and you let them go, why would they be hired back into an office where they were let go because they were not doing what they were supposed to do? Corruption.
That's a very good question, and I don't have the answer for that. That is something that you have to ask the people who brought them back. Why did they bring them back? And why, some of the other pending suspensions I had and other allegations that we had that was either through the AG's office or the district attorney's office, why those people are back and why did they let them go? That's something that you have to ask whoever's in charge now, because if I was there, they wouldn't be back.
In fairness, let me make it clear. So before somebody tells me, well, you didn't give the other side an opportunity to speak. We have contacted the current mayor. We have invited her to come on the show. We called and left Malcolm a message this morning, and I'm waiting to hear back. So as soon as the mayor contacts us, and if she's willing to come on, we will happy, run an interview and she can give us her point of view. But going back to the very beginning of this show, no one is guilty until found guilty in a court of law.
Right.
Those people
Right.
that you said that you let go because of corruption, were they found guilty of anything?
Most of those people were found guilty, yes, already, and
And they back?
yeah, and some was still pending, and they dropped they dropped the case on the people. So I can't do anything about that. If I put a case together and have the file and ready to execute on it, and we know that we have that individual, and that individual is going to be indicted, and somebody else comes along after you with more power and say, hey, I'm going to take this case and just throw it out. I can't do anything about that. I did my job. I made sure that I focused on cleaning things up, and for 5 months crime was down over 230%. We didn't have all of those scandals going on, and any scandal that did happen, we took care of it right away, because they knew that I didn't play around. I don't have time, because when I talked to each one of my commissioners and everybody that was there, including when I brought back Commissioner Harris, I told him, I sat everybody down in my office, and I said, there are a few things that I'm going to let you know. And there's some things that I'll let you know that cannot happen. One, do not embarrass the city of Mount Vernon in any way. Or two, don't embarrass me or put me in a position that I have to explain why you did something that's not right, because I'm going to boot you out of here right away. And you can ask the commissioners. I did have that conversation. And that was two things we can't tolerate. Don't do anything that will embarrass the people of Mount Vernon or this administration, because I'm going to let you go right away. And not only that, I'm going to make an example of you.
Now, former Mayor, we saw a memo circulating this morning. We were not sure if this was actually sent out by the mayor, but it seems like she confirmed that she did. And you and I spoke before, and you seen that memo. I have received some calls, some texts that saying that memo sounds like obstruction, because the language on the memo, it's a strange language. If you know
Right.
anything, come to us. Some people are saying, if you know something, go to the FBI and give them the information that you have.
Right.
How did that memo sound to you? The language.
Well,
Would you have written the way it's written?
I wouldn't have written it that way. But I don't know what her reasons are for writing it that way. I can't knock her for how or what she was thinking, because sometimes, well, I'm not making excuses.
I don't want a political answer on this one.
No,
You-
it's not a political.
It
It's not a
is. It is.
political answer,
Because
because wait.
the question, sir, is what do you think? Not what do you think that she was thinking. Okay.
No, okay, let me explain to you one thing about the letter. I wouldn't have written that letter that way. I wouldn't have done a lot of things in the way that things are being done right now. First and foremost, I would have put it out there at the beginning, because everybody knows I'm very straightforward and outspoken about everything. So the bottom line I would have said is, if there are people, okay, that are caught up in this, you will be fired if you are guilty. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, because I believe everybody's innocent until proven guilty. But if you come out on the guilty side, don't expect to stay here working for Mount Vernon, because that's a bad situation. And with regarding the letter, I would have said to anybody, first of all, I wouldn't have wrote the letter, because I didn't think it's necessary, because that's the FBI's job. I would just stay out of it and let them do what they have to do, to take down what they have to take down, and any assistance that they need, they would call us and ask us for it. However, if I wrote that letter, I would have written it and said, if you do have any information, contact your local authorities, or the FBI to share that. That's it. But I wouldn't say give me the information or give it to your commissioners or anything like that, because that's putting people in positions that they should not be in. Is that a better answer?
Yeah, it's a better answer. And when you read that letter, how did you take it? We already know what you would write. Now, let's say you are just an average citizen in the city of Mount Vernon, and you're reading the letter. What would you think of that letter as it's written?
Well, I would reading the letter, I would say that the letter should not have been written. And yes, you are starting to get involved in an investigation that has not asked you to be involved in an investigation. So you are getting in the way, period. So I would not have suggested that anybody wrote a letter like that or put it out there. Because, unless you are working with the feds and the feds are asking you to do something like that or to help participate or to get that message out. Other than that, I'll sit back and wait until they tell me what what they want and what's going on.
Exactly. So in other words, sounds like obstruction of some kind. Now, but then again, to be fair, we do not know if the feds asked the mayor to put a letter in order to see if somebody would come forward. We don't know.
Right. So that's why I'm just saying that, unless the feds had called or asked for that assistance and stuff, I would not have done anything, and nothing should have been done. However, we don't know. I just don't know. I'm not there. I'm not privy to that information. I don't know why they wrote the letter. So I can't answer those things because I'm not there.
Now I
And I don't know.
I have a statement here from our audience, John Jones, and this is what he says. The culture in the city government, meaning Mount Vernon, has been since Richard Thomas is one on the seat, corruption, and whatever they want without any penalty. Do you believe the same, sir, or you defer on that?
Well, could you repeat that again? Because
Sure.
thought I heard some key words that I want to respond to.
The culture in the city government, talking about Mount Vernon, has been since Richard Thomas is one of the seat, corruption, and whatever they want without any penalties. In other words, it's a system, a corrupt system.
Absolutely, 100% true. That statement, I couldn't get the word, but when you said it again, it was deceit.
Deceit, yeah. My accent sometimes.
Yeah. I got a whole bunch of other words to throw behind Mr. Jones's statement there, but yes, it is a corrupt culture that has been throughout our city government. This is the same culture that I was trying to break. But it's a tough thing to crack, especially when you don't have the time and the resources to do it. I did get the resources to get it done, but unfortunately, I didn't have the time. If I would have had a full year, would that city hall and the police department be cleaned up? Absolutely. I agree. I believe 100%, because I know who a lot of the bad actors was, and I know who I had to get rid of. And I know what a lot of the scandals were, and I saw how it, played out. So I was definitely going to clean that up. But Mr. Jones is 100% right. And this culture continues to go on, and it will always continue to go on because no one else wants to step up. None of the elected officials, none of the people in charge and the top brass or within City Hall or government. Everybody is waiting for somebody else to solve the problem because they don't want to do it themselves. Was I hated by a lot of people in Mount Vernon city government and stuff? Of course, They tried to kick me out. They wanted to make sure I didn't become the mayor. They didn't want me to take down some of the police officers. They didn't want me to go after a lot of people. They blocked me. They fought me. And then they tried to run out the clock to make sure. They even told people to go on vacation for a few weeks or a month, to wait for the new administration so I can't get them. So is it corrupt? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is it going to change? We can only pray that it does. And the only way to change it is by becoming involved and getting active and really going after it. I always use the same thing. Things will remain the same until we do something about it. We could always depend on it to be the same. And nobody else wants to claim it or do anything about it. But I tell people, what happened if Martin Luther King would have looked out his window and said, hey, the cops are out there with the dogs, and the spray hoses, or Rosa Parks would have just got up out of that seat and moved to the back of the bus, or all of these different things, where would we be? Somebody has to step up and step out and do what is right, or it cannot change. It's just going to remain the same. The more we think that it's going to change, the more it's going to stay the same, because nobody is saying anything. Nobody is doing anything. There is a saying I have in my landmark days when I used to be an introduction leader down there for years and stuff. It's a saying that you do the same things, you have the same life. Do something different, you'll have a different life. The reason why nothing is changing is because no one is doing anything different, which is doing something about the problem or dealing with it. Nobody comes with a solution. They just sit back and wait till it's somebody else's problem and hope that they'll, solve it for them. And it's sad.
Now, Mayor, I'm the same people that, let me try to switch the file. Are the same people that today, some of them, not all, that are involved in this, the same people that were screaming corruption, corruption when the mayor before you, asking for justice and action and prosecution. Seems like probably there will be now a dose of their own medicine, no?
Well, my mother always said the same thing over and over and over. Be careful of the seeds that you sow, because that's what you're going to reap. And, don't throw those stones if you live in a glass house. All of those sayings, people just, I would say what goes around comes around. And you just have to be careful of what you're putting out there, because karma knows everybody's address. And when you do those things, it will eventually come around and ring your bell. And some of the folks, their bells are getting rung now. So I don't know what more I can say about that.
Now let's talk a little bit about a project that you worked on for the time that you were in office, Memorial Field.
Yes.
We interviewed someone the other day, and they gave us a window that beginning of the year, it will be complete. Is that completion in line with the vision that you had for the Memorial Field?
The beginning of this year coming, 2021?
I believe, yes.
No, it won't be in the beginning of the year. Maybe in the middle of the year, but I doubt the beginning of the year. It's impossible. I'm in the construction industry, and I know the time it takes to do something. But I could tell you this much: they could be able to move a lot faster because we were able to set the foundation for them to be able to do what they're doing now. So we handed it over to the county on a platter. So there's nothing to do, because Mark Ettera, who I worked close with, he's an engineer. I went to school of engineering. We do construction. So he was a key person. I couldn't have gotten it done without him, because there's things that, we sat down, we figured out numbers, we figured out loads, we figured out all these things to clean it up. We figured out how to clean up the stuff with the DEC so that we can actually be able to get in there to do the construction work. Because unless all of those things were handled, nothing was going to ever get done, you know? And it started, it was a lot of work. You know, people were a little upset with how I may have done it because I had to take the former mayor to court. We won in court. I won each time, you know, in court to make sure that we can get it to the stage that it's getting. And, you know, going back to the police, how this, I'm going to show you how this kind of coincides with one another. Because when I was doing the memorial field, also the water department, all these different things for corruption, all these different things to set our city, you know, on a good, you know, solid ground and move it forward, I was by myself. If you look at all the lawsuits, the lawsuit against the water department, the lawsuits against the current administration, the lawsuit against for Memorial Field to get it done, and I had to stand out there by myself. There's nobody else. Other council members wouldn't get on. Other elected officials didn't want to be bothered. Nobody wants to stand up and say it. It's the same thing in the police department. You got to have people who are willing to say, if nobody's coming with me, I'm going to go myself and get it done. You know, and I don't see that in Mount Vernon because I don't see the passion to protect the people. I don't see the passion to help the people. I see most of the folks in for themselves, and that's not a good thing because I keep on going back to, like, we work for a people that elected us. They are our bosses. We have a job. That is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to respond to them and make sure the needs, because they're putting us in a position to take care of their needs. And when those are not being met, you got angry people, and it's unfair, and it's horrible. It's just a bad thing to do. But Memorial Field, I'm happy with what we did. I'm happy with the work Commissioner Edera and I did to clean it up, to go through and remove the DEC and the violations, and then, you know, being able to put together the money, transfer the money to the controller, because we were able to work with the controller to get this done. So I transferred money to her so that the contractors could be paid. And we were able to crunch numbers and save the city $1.6 million on getting this thing done because we did it ourselves in-house. And we were able to do all of these things. So I'm very proud of it. I'm looking forward to Memorial Field being built. You know, I the way I look at it, and, you know, they were having a groundbreaking for the beginning of the construction or so, you know, for the new company that won the bid. And I was there and I saw the commission and we was talking about it. And we had a comment too. I said, doesn't this feel great that we were able to rush this ball all the way down the field? You know, and right now we got to just sit back and watch Latimer and them cross the goal. You know, we'll hold the line so that they can punch it through. But we've done all of that. So I'm happy with it. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to seeing it built, you know. And I think next summer it should be pretty much in a far state or you know, really pretty much developed.
Now, Mayor, let's move to charter revision. We interviewed the prior mayor before you, Richard Thomas, yesterday. I'm not sure if you saw the interview. And he spoke about the charter revision. Needs to be looked at. How you feel about that?
Yeah, the charter needs to be updated. We need to work on that. There's a lot of things in the charter I've tried to upgrade and change and work on and amend and do all of these different things. But there's a lot of things that are outdated to this time. However, we just need to update certain things. And what we need to do is see, when I always say when the founding fathers had put that charter together, they wasn't thinking about the corruption of today and the loopholes of today and the fancy lawyers that get you through certain things when you do this corruption. And they never thought that people would try to go around it and punch through and go do all these different things. It wasn't written for that.
Yeah.
You know, so now what we have to do in a society of today where you have this kind of behavior and culture, you just need to look at certain things and strengthen the laws within that charter, you know, and the codes of the city to make it, you know, make it better. So, and to hold people accountable and responsible for the things that they do.
Now we have a question from John Carlo Bautista. Ross, please ask Mayor Wallace, what does you expect the Mount Vernon city budget to look like for 2021?
Wow. And I just wrote about that too. That was my number 4 in my story of 5. I told my guess is going to be anywhere from 12 to 16%, and I'm trying to be very fair about it and very I'm just trying to hopeful. But I don't think it's going to come anything under 12% at all, because, you know, what I explained to people is, you know, we already was in debt when I left. We were trying to clean that up and work that out because we were in the hole with a lot of things. And then coronavirus came along and compounded the situation, which, think about it this way. We have no revenue coming in from parking, no revenue from sales tax, no revenue from building permits and all of these things, because everything was shut down. You know, a budget is a projection of what you're going to do that year. Okay, so you project, and I explained it, you know, in the newsletter and the article. You look at it and you say, okay, we made $100 this year. Next year, we think we're going to make $100 again because that's what we're feeling. Okay, right now, you don't know what's going to happen next year because it's this coronavirus has left us with such uncertainty that we don't know. And you cannot go back to 2019 budget to say 2019 is going to work for 2021. And you don't have the numbers for 2020. And the last time I spoke to the controller a few days ago, you know, revenues from sales were down, you know, over $4 million. You know, so you're down $4 million in sales. You didn't make any of the real estate sales that or auctions that was supposed to go down that was in the budget. You didn't make the parking revenue. You didn't make the court revenue. You didn't make the, you know, it's just so many things. I could go down the list. So
but we don't have all day. Right?
We don't have all day. But right now, the revenue that's coming in is no way going to match the budget that we have of expenses, because they added more jobs, they raised salaries, they put more people on the payroll in that last budget. You know, it's ridiculous. And right now, the only way I could see them balancing the budget or trying to get the budget down to a point where grandma won't lose their home because they can't pay it because the tax is going to increase. You're going to have to do a combination of cuts, layoffs, and furloughs. It has to be done,
Okay.
you know.
Mayor, I need to step back because a question just came in about charter revision. You are in favor and you think that the charter needs to be reviewed and updated.
Yes, absolutely.
Sean Davis asks this question: why did you vote against funding the Charter Revision Commission?
I never voted against funding the Charter Revision Committee. And if you go back and you ask Derrickson Lawrence or any one of them that sit on that Charter Revision board, they would tell you I was there at their meetings and I've done everything I can to help them get that commission moved. I didn't start that commission, you know, Mayor Thomas did, you know, and that was one of the good things that he did. So I never had a problem with funding that. Other council members did, but I didn't, you know, and other council members wanted to abolish it. And I was saying, you know, it's a good thing to have this commission to look over this stuff if we as city councilmen are not doing it. So we have outside people to be able to do it, which it works. And I know some people want to get rid of it just because it was the mayor, the former mayor that did it, because Mayor Thomas did it. I always say the same thing. And, people ask me questions like that. And I try to tell them, not everything Mayor Thomas did was bad. It wasn't. And I say that all the time. He had good ideas. I think he had some very bad ones, that was, put forward by some bad people that were surrounding him. But,
Mayor,
not everything was bad.
Exactly. If anyone knows of anyone whose all ideas are good, please let me know. I want to meet that person.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Me too.
Because, everyone, all of us in our lives, we make some good decisions and some bad decisions. That's what we call life. Now, this question comes from Samuel Rivers. He has a very good point with this question, because we are hearing about this federal investigation in Mount Vernon, PPP. Yeah. Lots of people don't even know what the acronym for PPP is. They hear this
Paycheck Protection Program.
Exactly. They're hearing about it, federal investigation, but they really don't know what that actually is. Do you care to explain how the city employees are engaged in this scam and what is this scam?
Well, I don't have any concrete evidence on it. I'm just hearing what is said out there.
We're not accusing anyone. We're just trying to define what this crime is. Not that it happened or didn't happen, because none.
Right.
Can you hear us, sir?
Yeah. That was just low battery.
Not that it happened or didn't happen. Okay, that's beside the point. I'm just looking for the definition. So for those that are watching and hearing about this, know what this is about.
Got it. Well, the Paycheck Protection Program, they had what they put out in the stimulus package, the Paycheck Protection Program, and what they have was also the EDIL, which is the emergency disaster relief fund. So money. So the PPP was supposed to go to businesses so that they can keep their employees working. So that was to go towards the paycheck and to make sure that you can pay your employees to keep them open, the business open, while you have this particular pandemic going. And it's a shame when this kind of behavior is going on, if this is true, because they should be out there. And I mentioned this to some of the folks in the administration and others when this was starting. I said they should sit down with the businesses. I would have went from store to store in our community and business to business throughout our community. And I would have sat with them to work with them to show them how to do this PPP or the EDIL to save their business and keep their businesses open, because that means more tax revenue. That means more jobs. That means people are able to feed their families in the community, because we have a lot of small moms and pop stores in this community that need it. Now there are some of them, because they weren't able to do it, are shut down and won't be returning because this has wiped them out. So for someone to be defrauding that program and taking the money away from businesses that couldn't get it. And I asked other businesses, because I've even helped some people, understand it with, to keep their business. And some of the folks got it. I told them how to apply, how to go through the procedures, and they got it. But there were some of the businesses that I know that applied 3-4 times and didn't get anything. And then for those people in the community to not get anything, and the people that are, if this is true, making up companies and creating false narratives to profit for themselves and enrich themselves, while our community stores and businesses are going under, is shameful. It's shameful. It's shameful. It's hurtful. You disrespect the people of Mount Vernon. You destroyed our own economy. And you got to remember, some of these people, they don't get it that they live here. So when you're destroying your own environment, your own community, and it's hurtful. It's just a shame. It's a real shame.
So again, let's say if this is true, because we are not alleging,
Right.
if you are not still under investigation.
Right.
But if this is true, taxpayers, workers, people who work for the taxpayers are actually ripping off the taxpayers.
Absolutely, because it's taxpayers' money.
Exactly.
This is money that, everybody's paycheck sends money to the federal government. They take money out of everybody's paycheck. So this is money that is coming back out of the Federal Reserves to help those people and to help those businesses. When you take away from them and when you start to interfere and if money is going to, and I remember there was a time limit on it, and sometimes it shut down and it even ran out of money.
Yes.
How do we know that the scam, if true, all of those scammers got money and it ran out before the businesses in Mount Vernon could really get access to that money, and had to shut down and is now out of business, and their family is on the unemployment line and on the food bank, lines, trying to, stay afloat. It's shameful. It's shameful. And if it was me and I was in office at this time and this comes to be true, and I see that people have done that, they'd be fired immediately, without a doubt.
Let me read this statement from, we have an attorney in the House, just comment, you know her, Laureen Razor. And this is what Laureen said. Whatever, it is important that we must wait to see the outcome. There are no official allegations. I am troubled by the statement recently discovered process. This letter does not assist in any investigation. It's too vague. No employee will come forward because no one will know what the mayor is referring to. Maybe they do. This allows potential witnesses and perpetrators to escape answering. Also, why would the perpetrators come forward without lawyering up? This letter should have not been direct. Well, maybe some folks, if they did it, they know they did it. And maybe they feel if they come forward, they will turn probably federal witnesses and let's make a deal.
Remember what they say, the first one that runs down to the police station has the advantage, right?
Exactly. Let's make a deal. Maybe there is a bigger fish to fry. I don't know.
Right.
You don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe there is a huge fish somewhere, and maybe somebody knows who this fish is. And if you step forward, like you said, the first one to come forward.
Well, Lauren's statement backs up exactly what I said earlier. The letter should have never been written in the first place. So I agree with what she's saying, and not only because it backs up my statement, but it is true. Would I have written that letter? Absolutely not.
Well, is there anything else, sir, that you want to bring up that would be of importance? Oh, I have to ask you one question. That's the $1 million question. And before I ask, I know the answer. and you know the question as well.
That's why I'm laughing. But you're going to ask it anyway.
You're right. I am going to ask. Let's look through the crystal ball. Do we see anything there for the near future for the Andrew Wallace?
My straight, honest answer is I'm still debating it. Yeah.
What are you debating? What are you debating?
I'm debating the fact that can I, I've always thought about it. I sit around, I ponder, I say, can I come back in the office, and can I have the backing and the support to clean this up? Without having that support, it'll be the same thing. I'll be the one man show out there standing in front of the police station and calling for corruption, and standing in front of City Hall and trying to overturn those things. And, it becomes tiresome. Somebody told me in this way about the old saying that when you're younger, you are willing to swim upstream,
Mm-hmm.
but when you get older, you float and decide to go with the tide and the flow. And then that is something that I have to really think about, because I'm not a person who just goes with the flow or go to get along. I'm a person that will always, if I see something being done wrong and I represent the people, my job is to stand up for no matter what, and what the circumstance is, because that's why the people put me there. And I always have to remember that. So I'm weighing it out, and I'm looking at my options, and,
Now,
and,
now,
and seeing how it goes.
okay. So I'm looking at the crystal ball and I'm debating. But now, you debating what? Are you debating running for mayor? Are you debating running for what? What is debate? What is the subject of the debate, sir?
Yeah, the debate is, in what capacity do I still want to
Exactly. What is it?
work with the city? I have not made that clear yet. It's not even clear to me. But I'm sitting back, and as I pray, the Lord will give me the answers of what I've got to do. Maybe I'm best with just being on the sideline and working in the community like I used to do, and working with the youth and working with others, to create jobs and to create wealth for people. Maybe that might be the goal. So right now, I sit back and I debate, and I just wait for the Lord to give me the answers. I always say, if I just sit back and wait for Him, He'll direct me in the right place and where I'm supposed to be. So that's what I'm waiting for. He'll
So
tell
you
me
are
where.
a strong believer and you believe in God. So you're waiting for the path. Once
Exactly.
you're waiting for the path.
And like I say, when you just sit back and give your life, you know, um, it's easier. It's just let Him lead the way. And where I am now is right where I'm supposed to be. Where I'm gonna be tomorrow is up to Him.
I hear you. Tomorrow is
Yeah,
not guaranteed to no one.
that's right.
Now, Mayor, if you had in a scale, I don't think you're going to give me a direct answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. In a scale from 1 to 5, okay. Well, let me put it to you this way. Let me put it differently. When you were mayor, and when Mayor Richard Thomas was in the city hall, lots of
Yeah.
people that were running, lots of people were talking. They had all the answers and solutions.
Yep.
Now they are there, the problems continue. Okay, the problems continue. From a scale of 1 to 10, if you had to rank the administration today, where would they be, sir?
It's hard to rank them because I haven't seen anything done. So it's tough. It's tough to rank. I haven't seen anything. So I'm waiting for tonight. I think I'm going to chime in to see what the state of the city is, so she can, so the administration and the mayor can tell us what she's done. But I haven't seen anything, so I can't judge on what I haven't seen. I can tell you what I know with a couple of things that they overturned, like changing the signs back from 9 o'clock to 8 o'clock that I changed to 9. People are very upset about that, and like I said, those are your bosses that you are making aggravated. That you're aggravating. So those little things that you're changing, the Starbucks that was coming that now is no more. These things, that's what I know about, because those people contact me, and a lot of folks, tell me these things. But what has been done, I'm not sure. I know they're working on the 4 fire engine, but the 4 fire engine, I did that before I left. I got 3 in, and we had to wait for the drawdown for the 4th one. I have no idea what's going on between them and the controller with the money, because the money was there. So they just need to sit with the controller and figure it out. I know I had to, and it took me 10 trips to this controller, 10 conversations. But if it took me 100 conversations to get it done, it doesn't bother me because my pride is not going to get in the way. I would walk down to her office 100 times. You know how many times I've gone down to the controller office and she says, Mayor, I'm not going to speak to you right now. Kind of like throw me out. I'd be like, okay, I'll be back. And I'll come back the next day and the next day and the next day, because I know she's going to have to speak to me eventually. And I would just keep doing that. And then we would get things done. So I don't know what's happening with that. Maybe Mayor Patterson needs to go down, swallow her pride, go downstairs to the controller and ask the controller, what do you need so that we can get this done? Because our men need this ladder. The people and the public needs this ladder truck because the other one failed. So we need to get this thing and stop playing politics.
Well, Mayor, there is no news here. You tried to speak with the controller. She didn't speak with you. The prior mayor before you tried to speak with the controller. She wouldn't speak to him. I know for the fact that the current mayor have tried to speak with the controller and she's not speaking with her. I have tried to interview the controller. She's been blowing me off, left and right. Okay, we talk, we don't talk. I said, listen, people need to hear it from you. She doesn't talk. In the meantime, fire trucks are breaking down while firemen are on the ladder, risking their lives to save the people of Mount Vernon. So she's actually now putting the lives of people of Mount Vernon at risk.
Right, but I have to disagree with one thing you said.
Please.
That she wouldn't talk to me. We talked. We had our battles, we had our fights, like everybody else.
Yeah, you talk. She talked to me too. She
Yeah,
also talked to me on the phone.
but what I did was I was able to speak to her enough to get things done. In the 5 months I was there, she paid for Memorial Field. She took the money. She worked with me on that. She worked with me on the fire engine. It was difficult. I'm not going to say it was easy. It was difficult, but persistence overcomes resistance. And sometimes you have to keep showing people their error or their ways, you know, and you will break through, because when I became mayor, what I did was there was a stack of bills. Probably I'm showing you this, but it was probably 10 times the size of what my hands are showing you of stacked up, plus the bills that we had to do. And my conversation first with her was, let's look at what we could agree on. We put a pile of what we could agree on, the pile that we can agree on, cannot agree on, and the pile that we have to work out. So everything that we could agree on, we signed, sealed, got it out the door. Then we worked on the things that we thought we can work and resolve, and we did a lot of that. And then the things that we couldn't agree on, we fought like cats and dogs. But I expected that. She's not the easiest person to work with, but she has her ways. Like everybody has their ways. But what I used to do is I used to go downstairs and I would smile and say, okay, controller, well, tell me how you want me to bring this stuff down and how do you want it? And she would just tell me, Andre, I'm going to teach you how to do it. This is what I want and stuff. That didn't bother me. I didn't worry about any of that. Whatever she said, I just put it together and gave it. But you have to, everybody has to speak to each other. You have to find some way to communicate because the people out here are going to suffer for it. Everybody else is suffering. We don't get that ladder, and we need a ladder to go to somebody's house that has a fire and somebody dies in there. They're the ones suffering. So we have to find a way to communicate between the council, the controller, and the mayor. That's it. You cannot not work together.
But Mayor, I have to interrupt and politely disagree with you for a second here. I don't have to negotiate with my wife for love. Okay. You don't have to negotiate with the controller in a way for her to listen to you. You know, she should know what's the best for the city of Mount Vernon. So personality should be set aside, and let's talk about what's best for this city.
Right.
At the end of the day, when she refuses to talk to you, or you have to come back 100 times to talk about the same subject, you could be putting that effort into something else for the city of Mount Vernon. And when
You're right. And that's what kept me in the office overtime.
Exactly. And when I say you, I'm talking about the current mayor as well. Let's
Yeah.
talk. Let's see, this is what the people of Mount Vernon need. Let's talk about it. And if you don't think that that can be done, explain to me why. Not just, I don't have time for you now, go come back. And you there kind of, when I say you, I mean in general, begging to talk with the controller. This is not her gig. This is the city of Mount Vernon's gig. This is for the best of the city.
Right. I get it. You know, I understand. I get it. I understand, you know, completely what you're saying. But you know what? You know, there's a song that came out a long time ago by the three girls there. I ain't too proud to beg, because if I had to, it's for the people. I'm not going to let my pride and all my other stuff get in front, or clog or block or cloud up the mission in which I have to get done. You know, things will be difficult, but you have to think about what you're doing these things for and who you're doing these things for. So when I have these conversations with her, I was able to get things done, many things done. You know, did I like the back and forth and dealing with it? Nobody does.
But
But
Mayor,
the end game is, an end result is what I'm looking at,
Mayor,
you know?
don't you and the controller have the same boss? Aren't you both working for the same people?
Absolutely. We have the same boss. But let me tell you something. If I had to go outside, run around the building a bunch of times and do some backflips in order to get the things done for the people, then you would see me outside. You would see me showing up with my sweatsuit each day. You know, I don't care about that. I don't care about uh, 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 all of those back and forth and all of that stuff. I don't care about if you send me back upstairs. I don't care if you curse me out. I don't care if all I care about is what I can get done for the people. That's it.
Mayor, that is very clear. That is very clear that you try to serve the people. You or the prior mayor or the current mayor. The point is, neither one of you need to beg for the controller to do her job. That's the
You
whole point.
right, but I agree with you. Listen to me carefully.
No, I heard you, Mayor.
100% that we should not have to beg. But on the flip side, if I have to get it done for the people, I will. I don't have to, I will swallow my pride, and I will. And that's how I was able to get things done. You think it was easy for me to sit there and to be chastised by the controller and telling me how much smarter she is? No, of course not. But anyway, I had to suck it up, because I had to get for the people what I
I
needed
got
and
you.
what the people
I
wanted.
get the point.
But is it right? No. Did we all have to go through it? Yes. Is it painful? Yes. But I sit there and I just take it, you know? And I would keep taking it, you know, because I know what the mission is. And that's more important. So it's, if I had to walk across the hot coal, I'm gonna walk across the hot coal. It's the mission.
We got the point. You will do whatever it takes to do work for the city of Mount Vernon. If it's begging, a little begging, you do it. If you have to flip, you flip. We got it. Now, Mayor, we've been talking for 1 hour. This was supposed to be 45 minutes.
Oh, I didn't even check my time.
Time fly,
You know?
time just flies. So I'm going to conclude this with one question, and then we call it done for the day. Where do you see Mount Vernon 5 years from now? I'm talking about the city, not who is in power, who's not. How do you see Mount Vernon? do we have a bright future? Or if we continue to go as we are going, we are going to be in much worse position than we are today.
I'm sorry to say it because if I was at the wheel, I know what I would do and where we would be, but I can't see any vision that is different or better tomorrow than it is right now. Because I have a vision of my own, what I would like to do and how I see Mount Vernon and how great it would be, and how, we would definitely be, like I tell everybody, the head and not the tail, and we would be so powerful that, whenever we sneeze, all of Westchester catches cold, because that's where we would be. I understand that, but with what I see now and how things are going, I don't see, it's a blind that you can't see. I can't even see where we're going to be next year, because there's no carved out path, no real plan, no nothing. So I can't see it. I just don't. So to say 5 years from now, I just can't see it. I don't think we're gonna be any further. I think we've hit a rut that we're gonna be stuck in for a few years.
Thank you, sir. And you know that you are always welcome on Yonkers Voice. If you ever have anything that you feel the people of Mount Vernon need to know, please contact us. And the same goes to any elected official, anyone in the city of Mount Vernon or Yonkers. If our platform can be the vehicle to deliver a message, regardless of what the message is, please contact us. When I say regardless of what the message is, within reason, okay? Things that are of benefit to the people of our cities, please get in touch with us. Now, stay tuned tomorrow. Tomorrow at around 9:30, we should have Ernest Davis on Yonkers Voice. We will see.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Yes.
I always love seeing Ernie.
Ernie is going to be on tomorrow at 9:30. Hopefully, we will not have any technical difficulties. Today we had a few. We could not have an interview early this morning. Thanks God this worked now. But if everything goes according to plan, Mr. Ernest Davis will be on tomorrow at 9:30. So please stay tuned. Feel free to share the videos, ask questions. Don't forget to support us by like Yonkers Voice and turn those notifications on. Thank you, sir. We wish you well.
Thank you.
And soon you're going to have the little girl. So a big hug when she comes, she comes home.
Yes. You see my face lit up.
Thank you.
All right.
Until next
Take
time.
care. You
Bye-bye.
got it. Bye.